They make a new engine. It had all kinds
No,
of
you gotta love
problems.
them
They figure it
Toyotas.
out. They keep improving on things. But then they don't just drop that engine after a few years and move on to something else. They keep going with the same engine for a
Boom.
long time, to a point where the later versions of this engine, they don't have any of the common problems because they've all been
Bam.
addressed.
No more problems. That was from an Instagram page called Yoda Verse. YOTA and then verse. It brings us into our new episode of the Heist Garage's Shop Talks. I want to thank you guys for joining us again. No, my co-host, my brother, my compadre, my buddy is not here. Yeah, you heard in the last episode, he just got his gastric bypass. He's doing really well. It's just, his body's accumulating to the new weight. So his legs are a little shaky because he's got a little bit more bounce because, there's not as much weight to support. But I'm proud of you, brother. Keep going. But yeah, it's all about problems, right? It's all about fixing things. Everything has a purpose. Brings me to my point. This past week, we've had a weird one. Bunch of problems. Everybody was basically kung fu fighting with the trucks we were working on this week. Everything we brought in was horrible. Everything we touched, the dang bolts were rusted on, didn't want to come off, or they're in an awkward position where you can't really get into it. It was a weird week. I know a lot of us have had that where you think, damn, we can't get to Friday fast enough. And that's what we dealt with this week in our shop. And I don't want to put anybody on blast. This is my boy. That's my dude. A huge supporter of the brand, huge supporter of the podcast. But my guy Pedro, God. He's a good help. He's a good worker. He's there to learn, get better. And I'm not saying I'm better than him. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody in our shop. Maybe just one person. And if you know, you know. But maybe just one person. I know I'm definitely better than one person for sure. For sure. But my boy Pedro, we had this truck come in. Hey, we think the kingpins are bad. It was I don't even know. It was a Ford truck, probably like a F450 with like the long bed in the back. Turned it into a, I don't know. Whatever. Point is, yeah, it was bad, man. Kingpins were shot. So we're taking that apart. Well, Pedro started taking that apart. I had time. So I kind of helped him out. I'm helping him out. It's going good. It's going great. We're laughing it up. We're yucking it up. Me and my dude having fun. Every now and then I go on the rack. I have to do something, but he's over there. He's working it. Because baby, he's worth it. And then we're reassembling everything. Well, okay, one. Hold on. Let me back it up. He's all, yo, I need help. I gotta take off this spindle, right? This was like the day before we were doing this. Sorry. This is where the story really gets good. He was doing kingpins on another truck. It's probably like a Freightliner. It had disc brakes. If you guys don't know those disc brakes, it's different than the ones with the drum brakes. They're a little easier. It doesn't move as much. Obviously, the disc spins. Point is, hey man, come over here and help me out. I just gotta, I gotta take this off. All right, cool. I got you, Pedro. Don't trip, dude. I got you. So I head over there, gloves on. Let's do this, Pedro. Lift with your back, baby. Be a man. Lift with your back. So we're going. I grab the little arm on top that connects the oh my god. Point is, I grab something and Pedro goes, "Hey man, be careful. That thing's gonna slip." I'm like, man, Shut your dumb ass up, Pedro. I got this. The fuck? Just lift, bro. Pull your weight, dog. Come on. I didn't say that, but I was just like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry. don't worry. I can. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. And well, lo and behold, guess what fucking happens? That thing slips, crushes my finger. I just drop it. Like I pull my hand out. You know, it's instinct. Ah, fuck. Pull my hand out. He's like, oh shit, you okay? And I had to take a second. And I wasn't mad at Pedro. I wasn't mad at him. He warned me. He's like, yo, careful, it's gonna slip. My dumbass was like, yeah, shut up, hurry up, lift this. Boom, and it slipped. And I had to just walk. I was just, Pedro's like, you good? And I'm like, yeah. And then, you know, once it all settles and the everything's good, he's all, I told you. Rightfully so. He did tell me. There I am. My finger's all like, it's just, oof. It's tender, you know? It's tender. And so whatever. He's all like, hey, come help me. I'm all joking around. Dude, I'm not going to help you. I'm done helping you for the day. Like, F off, man. Oh, come on, you know, whatever. But it was funny. So that, and then, you know, we're going to this Ford. Fingers tender. I'm helping him out doing the same thing. And I don't know, just every now and then I'm like, ugh, I'm wincing because I finger hurts. There I am helping Pedro again. But this time I'm listening. I'm trying to pay attention. Hey, man, I don't want to break my other hand or finish off this finger. So, whatever. We did that Ford. We finished it. You know, he tightened up his side. I tightened up my side. I had to jump back up on the rack. He's like, don't worry, I'll finish it up. So when you do that, you know, you make sure everything's good. And you fill up the hub with oil because obviously it needs oil. You don't want shit to go down. But, yeah, so we do all that. All right, cool. It takes off. Probably like an hour and a half later. I think we finished before lunch, and Gene got a call during lunch. And, yeah, it's, hey, we, that truck you guys just did, I think the bearing burned up. What? Yep, it's not moving too well. No way. We come back from lunch. Roger's all, hey, that truck is coming back up on a tow truck. Pedro, what the hell happened? And kind of just like, oh, dude, I don't know. So the wheels are turning in Pedro's head, and we're like, oh shit. And then I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That sucks, Pedro. And then I'm like, oh shit, hold on, wait a minute. I help work on that. So Pedro's like, I was like, damn, and I'm like, oh shit, fuck. He's like, maybe I tightened the nut too hard, or maybe there was enough hub oil. But now I'm like, dang, I don't want it to be my fault. One, obviously I don't want to get in trouble, but two, I don't want Pedro to get in trouble because of my mistakes. And you know, Pedro's cool about it. I'm like, dude, it wasn't my fault. He's like, don't worry about it, dude. It was my truck. I was working on it. Like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, buddy, that's not it. I appreciate the sacrifice, but that's not the point. I'm sorry, Ma. But no, he's cool. We bring it in. Clearly the bearing burnt up. To this day I don't really know what happened. We were saying that there wasn't enough hub oil. I think Pedro was saying, oh, I think I just over tightened the nut. And I don't want to be an asshole, but the whole time I'm thinking like, damn. So I did the passenger side, or I tightened up the passenger side. I put the bearing in, the washers, all that, double the nut. Pedro did the driver's side. So, you know, we pull it in. They're checking it out. They do the passenger side, and I'm like, oh, how is it? He's like, nah, it's all right. I'm like, oh, thank God. They go to, you know, the driver's side, and you can see on the hubcap, it has a little plastic, and that thing was burnt. It was melted. And I was like, oh fuck, like that sucks. But deep down inside, I'm not gonna lie, and Pedro, if you're listening right now, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick, but I was so happy when I saw that my side was okay, right? I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm so, like, it was crazy. I was, again, I didn't, not, you know, not because I didn't want to get in trouble. Obviously, no one wants to get in trouble, but I didn't want it to be my fault. And I'm not saying like, oh, Pedro, you're an idiot. No, I was just, woo. There's nothing worse than someone getting in trouble because of you. And at this moment, it wasn't my fault. So, hallelujah. But yeah, so we had to do that whole job again. The bearing on the driver's side basically welded itself onto the spindle, so they had to break it up. I saw them torching it, cutting it. They were there for a minute. Finally got everything out, bits and pieces, and they were able to throw everything back on. But yeah, it was that wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. We had other trucks that we were working on after. You know, my boy Rob was over here like, damn, like what the fuck, like trying to get shit off. Pedro's on the other end trying to get shit off and cussing up a storm. But this job was like, it had everybody on edge. The boss was turning red, and we were like, all right, nobody approach him with stupid questions. And it was funny too, because as we were putting stuff back together, or I believe waiting for parts, Pedro had said something like, "Oh, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to mess it up again or something," right? And Compa Chewy's like walking by, or I don't know, and he says he says something along the lines like, "Well, I mean, you can't really piss off the boss any more than you already have, so might as well just do it." And I couldn't. I was like, I couldn't hold out. Like, and Pedro just looks at him like, you know what? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. And it's funny that's just how the shop is. You're gonna get made fun of, no matter where you go. You're gonna get made fun of. If you don't, those people don't care about you. So, pro tip, tech tip of the day, tech tip of the week. If you're at a shop and you don't get made fun of, they probably don't like you. So keep that in mind. But yeah, he says you can't piss off the boss any more than you already have. And it's like, all right, well, there we go. And then in that day, we had we didn't have a meeting, but so we have our breaks, right? I believe it was our last break, and our boss is talking about how like, oh, yep, the fuck up folder. Everybody has a fuck up folder. And all right, previously, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Like a week or two before this, I was taking my paperwork into the office, and the boss was in there talking to the office lady's like, oh yeah, the fuck up folder, I don't know what, and I'm putting in my paperwork. I'm like, I'm not engaging in this conversation, talking about mess ups. And Gene sees me, and he's just like, yeah, Alex has his very own fuck up folder. He has his own section. And I was like, oh hey, yeah. I was like, I'm just trying to do better, just trying to make light of the situation. And he was calling me out. It's fine. I did have a bunch, and point is, I was like, yeah, trying to get better. It's not, it's not that easy. And he's like, oh yeah. Let's just keep it to one this year. And I'm like, oh, it's one of those things where they tell you not to do it, and it's the first thing you do. So, I laughed it off. I shrugged it. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I get it, bro. But I have gotten better. We haven't had a meeting about me, so knock on wood. So, anyways, fast forward to this. He brings up the fuck up folder again. He goes, Pedro made fuck up of the month or whatever. He's right there, right on top. My other coworker walks up. He's sitting down, and this idiot goes, oh, what? We got a fuck up folder? And when my boss turns slowly, ever so slightly, to his right, looks at him, and he's all, yeah, there's a whole folder for yourself. Like, he basically just, yeah, dude, and you're on it multiple times. Like, what you get a golden star for being on there as many times as you are. And he just like why did you open your mouth, dude? Read the freaking room. When our boss brought up the fuck up folder, everybody was just like, yeah, kind of. And I just had this conversation with him. So I'm on my phone. I just staring down. I didn't even look up. I didn't chuckle, nothing. I was like, okay. Everybody was like, all right, like, let's just, whatever. This freaking dude is all, we got a fuck up folder. And my boss just, yeah, dude. You got your own section. You got your own chapter. You got to go to the bibliography and figure out where you're at. And he's just, oh, come on. And we're looking at him like, I looked at him like, are you fucking serious? Why would you do that? You just poked the bear, dude. You could have just sat down, shut up, and everything would have been fine. But our boss was like, you're in it. Number one. You're number one. And and that's how that week went, though. Everybody was kind of on eggshells. It was, I don't want to say awkward, but we were just like, all right, nobody piss them off more than we already have. And it's just, it's just crazy. It was a good week. And then, it just, I don't know. It just seemed so long. It just kept getting worse. After that, Pedro's working on a truck. We're I'm trying to help him out, and I'm doing this. It was bushings, and when we were raising it, it's getting raised. We're lifting it up, and we hear a boom, and we're like, oh shoot, where did it come from? So we're looking, and we're like, all right, like none of the body panels broke. Where the lift points are fine. We're going good. And we're like, all right, well, nothing fell off. We're looking under the truck. Okay, everything's good. All right, cool. Well, send it. Keep going. So we keep going. We're doing that. And we start disassembling it. We're doing the bushings. And when we take the wheels off, we take the fenders off, we notice, oh, shoot, passenger side, that hanger bushing, the hanger itself is shifted. You can see where it used to be, where the paint is like moved or dirty or not dirty. And so we're like, okay, well, that hanger's bad. Something's up. And we're going through it and we're looking, and the bolts on the hanger are loose. I think one was missing, and it's just no good. So we're like, okay, well, that was probably the noise. It shifted. All right, cool. So now we got to do this hanger. Trying to figure that out. I think I was tightening something. Finger's still tender. I got pissed because it hits my finger, and I'm like, you motherfucker. Any other day, I literally said, I was like, any other day, it's my thumb or something. But no, this specific finger gets hit again. Like, I was like, Pedro's like, what's going on, buddy? Talk to me. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm like, I need another 30 seconds. So we're doing that. The hanger itself was a pain. We had to Pedro had to cut the bolts out. So there I am with my volunteer fire chief hat on, making sure that we don't catch on fire. And it was just such a pain. It was bad. And we're already like kind of upset because like, dude, how do you not notice this hanger? Like, how do you not notice this bolt is missing? Like, oh, come on. So we're doing that. It took all day. That hanger just was stubborn. And since I was helping Pedro, I was like, all right, cool. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up on my rack. It's cool. Well, hold on. Let's break it down. So these hangers we could. So we did the two hangers. He did the hangers. We did the bushings, and then we're doing the front ones, the most front ones. And time's a ticking. We got to get this truck done. It's almost the end of the day, and we're like, let's get to it. And if you don't know, I believe it was a Volvo. They're the threaded grease ones. And you could pull them out with the Tiger tool, or you can just kind of put the old bushing in there and just whack them out. boom, boom. And that's what we decided to do. I looked at Pedro when we got everything undone and we dropped the axle. I'm like, hey, man, we're going to hit these babies out? He's all, hell yeah, dude. I ain't got time for this. And I'm like, amen, brother. Give me a hammer. So there we are. We're both whacking it. Now, listen, I know that sounded weird, but we're hitting the bushings out. Okay? You know, in the industry, you hear whacking it and you're like, ugh. But in the industry, it's a legit term. Okay? So there we are, me and Pedro, both double teaming it. We were doing a double team whack. And again, it's just industry talk. Okay? Industry talk. So we're double whacking it. You know, he finishes a little bit before me, but I come up right after. Bam, and we're done. Quick and easy. And now, again, industry terms. I'm just saying, these are industry terms. Just relax. Relax, internet. Okay? Anyways. So we're like, all right, cool. We're going to hit in the new ones. The new sleeves and the new bushings. Well, we had to use a brass hammer because we're like, you don't want to obviously damage the new bushing. All right, cool. Pedro pulls out his nice brass hammer. And he's all, here, use this side, not this other side. So one face of the hammer is just, it's trash. Like he uses it. The other side has a couple hits, things. And I'm like, well, what if I want to use this fresh side? And he's all, no, like that side's the virgin side. Don't mess with it. And I'm like, but that makes me want to use that side more. And he's all, no, this fucker already used it. And it was Robin. Robert's like, yeah, come on, man. Like, so I'm like, oh my God, come on, Pedro, just let me use this side. Like, it's the fresh side. Like, oh, no. So whatever, he walks away. I think he went to go get something else, or I don't know. So I hit the bushing in, obviously, with the messed up side. So I'm hitting it. Boom, boom, boom. He comes back and he's like, you're done? And I was like, yeah. But I'm like hiding the hammer and like looking at him like, He's like, you motherfucker. And I'm like, what, dude? Like, I'm just helping you out. You know, I'm just doing my job. Just trying to help a friend out. And he's all, Alex, I swear, if you use that other side. And I was like, dude, relax. Like, I didn't use it. He was like, all right, I'm just saying, like, I want to be the one to like break that ground. I want to be the one. And I was just like, no, I get it. Cool. Do your thing, dude. Do your thing. Whack your side. We'll get it. Don't worry. And yeah, that was like the almost the finish line. We're about to go on our last break, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna help Pedro through it. I was trying to do it. I forgot what I was doing. I really do. I don't know if I was trying to put a bolt in or I was trying to raise something. Or point is, I got frustrated. I was hitting something, and he was like, "Oh, like do this," and they're all like, "Oh, it's break," and I was like, I threw the hammer down. I was like, "Screw this." I walked away because I was honestly like, oh. And Pedro kept working, but I was like, sorry, dude, I gotta take this break. Like, I'm mad. Screw this. And yeah, Pedro worked through break. By the time we got back on break, it was done. We just had to put the tires on, and yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm the one doing the alignment, so I'm like, all right, I'll take it up. Hop in the truck, turn it on, let the air pick up. All right, cool. Reversing it. Looking like a sick ass fool, just backing it up. Me. And where he had the truck, I had to back up all the way out, and then my alignment rack is cockeyed, so it's not directly like straight from the bay doors. So I have to back out and kind of come back in at an angle. So I'm backing out, and I'm about like my front tires are about to come out of the bay door. So I'm starting to cut the wheel, and I hear boom, like a pop. And then I'm like, okay, maybe like the bushings aren't too tight. I'll tighten it up. Don't trip. And then I hear, I look up and I see the boss. I see Pedro and my other coworkers like staring like, what the hell is that? So I get out and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't see anything. They're just like, just bring it up as fast as you can. All right, cool. So I bring it up and I'm like, oh shoot, what was that? And we're looking and it wasn't an airline or anything. The tank, like the relief. The relief valve, I think they said. I don't know. It's on the tank. It just blew. It flew off. I ended up finding it later further down my rack. I was like, oh, okay, so they're capping that. But apparently when that happened, that the boss turned and looked at Pedro and said, what'd you do again? And Pedro was like, I don't know, everything's good. And we're like, I started laughing. I was like, come on, man. Come on, Pedro. He's like, that's what he told me, that fucking dick. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. All right, cool. We're doing that. My tocayo, Master Shifu, the Dragon Warrior, goes under there, replaces that valve. The air's not leaking out anymore. All right, cool. So I'm getting the alignment done, doing my thing. Pedro decides, all right, let me go under. Let me check again. Let me just make sure everything's tip top. He's going, and I hear him go, oh shit. Like he's like, oh no, like something's up. And I'm like, oh buddy, what now? And he's like, dude, the frame is cracked. What are you talking? Well, excuse me? And me, my coworker, Chewy, Compa Chewy, were like, what are you talking about? And he's all, yeah, like, come under here, look. We go and look, and right where the bolt is at for that hanger that we replaced that was the problem way at the beginning of the day. One of the bolts where that loud noise must have been that frame just saying, goodbye, I'm leaving the chat. And we're looking at it, and it's cracked. Right where the bolt's at. Probably the only thing holding it together is the fact that the nut, the bolt, the washer are pressed together and keeping it together. And I don't want to say he starts freaking out, but he's like, Pedro's like, damn, I gotta tell Gene. Oh, he's gonna get mad again. And we're just like, dude, I'm honestly telling him, like, just do it. He'd rather, he has to know, whatever. We'll say you didn't catch it. And he's just like, dude, I couldn't have been able to see that. Like, whoever checked the truck should have saw that. Yeah, you're right. But we're like, dude, it's all right. Just go for it. Just go. Just tell him. So I'm continuing the alignment. Pedro had walked away. He went into the office, gets the boss, and the boss is coming out. And apparently he was telling him, like, what crack? I didn't see a crack. Trying to like, what? No, there's no crack. Gets my flashlight. He goes under the truck and he's like, oh, wow. This, that, yeah, that frame is fucked and I don't know what. And it's been there for a while. You could tell because once you get the metal shavings that stick, he puts on his professor coat and starts like, yeah, once the two metal start rubbing, you get magnetized and that's all it is. Those metal flakes, those shavings, it's no good. Frame's bad. Pops on out. All right, well, just shoot it and whatever. And he starts talking, hey, but that's why we got to check, that's this and that. This goes from a $2,000 job to a $10,000 job. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Looks Pedro in the eye and goes, yeah, this probably could have fixed your fuck up from the other day. And Pedro just, oh, I was like, oh my God, dude, this again. He did right on that wrong, all right? He did his time. I'm like, leave my boy alone. You don't know what we go through out here. And it was funny. It was a cherry on top. It was more lighthearted. The boss wasn't like upset. He was just like, all right, well, whatever, it is what it is. But the fact that he said that, he's all, yep, from $2,000 to $10,000, it would have covered your ass. And it was just the way the day had to end, right? It was like, whatever, dude, fine, I'll take that. And that's basically how the week ended too. When we were done with the week, we were like, God, dude, it was just a pain in the ass, man. And just happy we got through it. I'm happy I got through it. I was tired. My bones was hurting. My backs was hurting. There were times where I didn't think we were going to make it. I was like, well, here it is. Pedro, it was nice knowing you. I'll see you later. and it was, but it was fun. At the end of it, we're all laughing about it. We're all talking about it. I remember, like, I think Thursday or Friday, we were just like, God, man, what the hell is going on this week, dude? Like, just back up, man. We're just trying to get through it. We're just trying to get through it. But it's cool. It's cool. That's the good thing is I believe we do have a good shop. We're gelling pretty well. That's what makes all these shitty days and all these shitty jobs better. If you have a good crew. And I mean, by good crew, I do mean, people who know what they're doing and can get the job done. But I also mean people you can get along with. Because there's nothing worse if you're the odd man out and you're by yourself and you really don't talk to anybody and you just like, one, no one's really going to help you. And then two, well, you're just kind of by yourself. You're out there. So, if you're entering a shop, if you're new somewhere, or you're the odd man out, I'm not saying go over there and kiss everybody's ass. No, that's far from it. I'm just saying, be cool with people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are my coworkers. This, like, nah, whatever. Nah, but be cool with them, dude. You see them more than you see your family. You see them more than you see your significant other. You guys are spending so much time together. Why not bond, have a good relationship with them? It makes the job a lot easier. It made this week a lot easier. I could tell you that much. I can't speak for Pedro. I hope we helped him make the week go by a little bit better. Had a little bit of a rough one. But, I mean, for me, myself, I mean, I went through the worst time of my life at the shop that I'm at this very moment. Right? Let's bring the mood down. Let's get a little serious, right? When my father had passed away, I was still relatively new to this shop. I was probably like in a year, probably a little less. Obviously, took some time off, came back, and I don't want to say it was like nothing happened, but they never, They never knew, like, oh, hey, I'm having a shitty day. And I've had a bunch of them, and like with myself, right, internally. I'm not saying like I messed something up, but yeah, I was messing things up because I wasn't all there. You're going through something. You're not all there. Something this big, you're not all there. And they were dark days, and I'm not saying like, oh, like they were bad. Like but point is, I wasn't all there. My mind was somewhere else. I'm spacing out, and these guys helped. Whether it was my boy Pedro, like, hey, don't forget to tighten this. Don't forget to do this, or my other coworkers leaving notes on cross tubes. Hey, don't forget to tighten this. And yes, it's like they're poking fun at me, but they're at the same time, it's like, again, like I said, if they didn't like me. Or I hope they like me, but I'm assuming if they didn't like me, they wouldn't tell me like, hey, get it together. Don't forget this. And they would do it in a comedic way too. They would leave me like little sticky notes with little hearts on it. I think one day I was off and Pedro like wrote on my rack, don't forget to tighten the cross tube. Jesus would always like, hey, are you sure you tightened this? I'm like, oh, yeah. And then he'd be all, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, all right, let me go check. So without them, without these guys, it would be a lot worse. And if you have a good crew, you have a good relationship with your coworkers, and I'm not even saying just in the shop, I'm just saying in general. You know what I'm talking about. Any shitty day could just be turned like that with a funny conversation, a stupid joke, a funny Instagram reel. We're not going to get into those though, but just go out there, man. Have fun. Get your hands dirty. Head over to theheisgarage.com. We got our new t-shirts dropping, dude. Dropping. Listen, it's been a beautiful weekend. The sun's out. Birds are chirping. Flowers are flowering and the time is changing. And there's just so many tools out there for you guys. So many tools, so little time. Head over to theicedgarage.com. Pick yourself up one of these t-shirts. Wear it for St. Patrick's Day so you don't get pinched. Because it is in our military green. So Many Tools t-shirt. Head over to theicedgarage.com. Pick yourself up one of these t-shirts. Get your hands dirty. Make some stories. Don't be afraid to fuck up. And as always, keep it Boyle Heights built. See you on the next one.